Many of my viewers have asked me to talk about a number of issues. They have approached me through Twitter and other social media. They have asked me to talk about the executive order issued by His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta and the reactions thereof. Still, a good number have asked me to talk about Western Kenya, about the Luhya, because 2022, in the view of many, will be determined by what happens in the Mlembe Nation. Now, let me begin with the Mlembe Nation. It is indeed true that one, the Luhya are very populous people. Two, they will decide in a big way who becomes president in 2022. A lot has been happening. There was the coups and counter-coups in Fort Kenya, the lamentations from Luhya leaders, the press conferences, and I want to settle on two meetings, one in Kajiado at the home of Francis Atwoli, Court Secretary General, and another one at the Nairobi home of Moses Wetangula. At Wetangula's home, Mudavadi and Wetangula and other leaders were complaining that some people wanawapimia hewa. Mudavadi reckons that there are people putting him and the other Luhya leaders on the political ventilators. Even before I analyze this, I want to inform my brother Musalia Mudavadi that doctors do not use ventilators unless the patient needs one. So it's time to ask yourself, all these things happening, could they be because you need ventilators? You need a ventilator. You need ventilators, you and you and Moses Wetangula. Now, if you look at what is happening in Western Province, I think it is about a vacuum. A vacuum that Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi ought to have filled. There are two things about power. Power doesn't like a vacuum. In fact, it hates a vacuum. Two, quite often you go for power. It rarely comes to you. So I think what we are seeing in Western Kenya, what we are seeing among the Mlembe Nation people, is the problem of power and that vacancy. I want to inform Musalia Mudavadi this morning that the truth is there isn't a leader in Western Kenya to match his credential. There isn't one of these leaders, not Oparanya, not Wetangula, his friend, not Eugene, none can match his credentials. So he's the undisputed king of Western Kenya. The problem has been his inability to seize that power, because that's how power works. So I think what is happening in Western Kenya is just a testimony of that. And I want to advise Musalia Mudavadi not to blame Francis Atwoli, because I think, and I've talked to Atwoli myself, what Atwoli is saying is they want Luhyas to be at the place where things are being decided. And in my honest opinion, they could be right. Because this BBI thing will in a large measure determine the politics of this country. I know there are people who don't like it, but that happens to be the truth. And therefore, people like Atwoli are saying, if BBI is where Kenya's future is being decided, where is the Luhya stake? That the Luhya must be at the table when things are being decided. And to the extent that Mudavadi has been reluctant when it comes to joining, because this is another issue we must address, that you are either with Tangatanga or Kieleweke. This is where the country is. If you can't generate enough power to offer a third alternative, you have to be with either. And people like Atwoli are simply concerned. And therefore, when they put Eugene Wamalwa and Oparanya, it doesn't mean Mudavadi is being left out. He's being told, come and claim your space. I want to talk to Mudavadi in his language today. Bakoletera mukana behango. Mukana weno yagona mba mama mobo. Olete mukana ono mukidioli. Madigo gabirega baga subuhi kwenye akole na aronda lusimbo. That is what I'm telling Mudavadi. Claim your space. Claim your space. All these things that are happening, even in Fort Kenya, Moses Wetangula, that can only happen because you are weak. You must be strong. The two of you ought to be strong enough to make sure the Western stake is not wasted, is represented. Either we shall be the president through Mudavadi, or we'll have a big chunk of what happens in this country and of what is being given in this country. We could be the ones giving. But please don't run away from where things are happening. If you think you can do without other people, then let us see you do it. That is, I think, is what Atwoli is telling you. That we want you to be the leader, but get the power. But because we do not see you moving towards where the power is, we don't want to be left out. I think I can leave it like that. That Western province leaders, stop running around like headless chicken. Get your act together. And I'm repeating that, Mudavadi, you are the undisputed leader of Western Kenya. Nobody can occupy that space of yours unless you want them to occupy. In the event you don't move with speed and occupy your space, people like Opranya are there. They may not quite fit in your shoes, but who knows? With the support of other senior leaders in this country, within the BBI matrix, they could get somewhere. So listen to Atwoli. And before I finish on Mudavadi, it doesn't serve you any good. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve your interest for you to attack Raila. When I say this, people say, oh, Manyona works for Raila. I don't work for Raila. I'm only telling you, Musalia Mudavadi, it's not in your interest to attack Raila. Work with Raila and Atwoli. Your future is bright. If you don't want, I've said it repeatedly. This should be the last time I'm saying it. Now, back to the story of the day. The Executive Order number 1 of 2020. People have raised a lot of issues. I want in a very short time to explain this thing. That this executive order is no different from others that Uhuru had issued. They are the same. That's point number 1. Point number 2, removing the word presidency is a political thing. It simply means from 2013, people have assumed that there is a collegial presidency. The Constitution doesn't have that. What Uhuru did, because of the background, because of what they had come through, ICC and all that, he worked with his brother William. He gave him space. They ran government with him. But that's not what the Constitution says. It's the goodwill of the president. And one of the reasons why the president was being nice to William Ruto was not just about ICC, about them getting power together, about persecution. No. The president also had his eyes on 2017. So you must understand that. It's as simple as that. He had his eyes on 2017. So he had to be nice. When he got 2017, he has his eyes on his legacy. He has his eyes on post-2022. And he must play the politics accordingly. So if asking Ruto to play his role as deputy president without assuming a share in the presidency, there is nothing unconstitutional. Now, to the executive order itself, many people in the Tanga Brigade and many lawyers, including President Harvey of LSK, think there was something wrong with that executive order. I want to tell Kenyans who have asked me to talk about this thing, there is absolutely nothing wrong about the executive order. He did not interfere with the judiciary. He never assigned duties to the judiciary. That will be wrong. He never restructured the judiciary. He never did. He only put the same thing in that document. People who are saying there is a problem with that must understand this. There is only one government, headed for now by Uhuru Kenyatta. That government is not shared. Kenyans have given the government to the president. Independence does not mean the judiciary and the legislature share government with the president. It doesn't mean that. It simply means within the bigger government which Uhuru is running, Kenyans want the administration of justice to be done in such a way nobody interferes with the judiciary. The president shouldn't interfere with the judiciary. He hasn't. He shouldn't interfere with the legislature, with the parliament. He has done that because parliamentarians have allowed him to do it. So independence doesn't mean you share government. It doesn't mean like that. So I'm only inviting those people to understand that what Uhuru has done is to describe government. This is the government of Kenya. This is my executive part of it. This is this. And even for policy issues, for administrative issues, for synergy, the judiciary must reach the president through some arrangement, through some institutional framework, through a department, through a government ministry, through a CS. That is what happens. The legislature, they make laws, and those laws come from the state law office. All these things must work together. That's what we call government. But the government has a head up there. Even the devolved governments operate within the bigger government headed by Uhuru Kenyatta. That's the kind of government we have in this country, and that's how it works everywhere. So the president never did anything wrong. And in the reactions that we are having from people, especially Tanga, you are continuing to do things I told you not to do. As you argue about this, you are continue to lose face. In the same manner, you are losing face by trying to fight even the changes in parliament. You are saying you are collecting signatures. I'm telling you, you will fail. You will fail. You will fail because Uhuru Kenyatta has engineered his politics, his succession in such a way, if you play catch up, you'll be the loser. And therefore, I hope we do understand each other as a country, and that moving forward, we must accept that there is one government, one unitary government. That's what we have, headed by one president. But we have told the president, we have independent institutions, don't touch them. In that executive order, I didn't see him touching any, and I've challenged lawyers to point at one thing that the president did to interfere with the judiciary, to order them around, to restructure them, to assign any duties to them. He didn't do that. He has only said, in Kenya, the government of Kenya that I run, this is how things are. This is my executive arm. I can restructure, and I'm restructuring. I've removed some ministers. These are the ones who are there. But for the judiciary, here they are. This is what they do. And the other arms of government, this is what they do. And for synergy purposes, they operate through these institutions, through these departments. So please, lawyers, don't confuse Kenyans.